Expected, but I think we can make it. My name's Luke Henderson. I'm your moderator for this evening's discussion. We're going to be here about 2 hours. I know we said we get you out a specific time. We're starting a little late. I'm going to hold the 2 hours. So that'll put you out a few minutes later than we expected, but if you'll go along with that, we can get the piece of work we have to done here today done. Our purpose today is really to get your opinions and attitudes about the political scene in Atlanta. Talk about that and get some discussion going on that. And we're going to be doing 3 things tonight. We're going to be participating in a group discussion where we all talk. We're going to be occasionally doing some private writing, which is the reason for the pads in front of you. And then we're going to be looking at some TV spots. So we'll be doing all 3 of those things in this session tonight. I want to tell you right from the beginning, I have nothing to sell you. Okay? That's right. I have nothing to sell you. This is a consumer opinion project. And it's to help some long-term planning that we're doing. And I'm a freelancer. I work for myself, and I work for a company that comes in Maryland. But I'm pretty much working for myself. And I've been hired as an outside consultant to do this job. So
non-biased.
Absolutely non-biased. That's how come they hire somebody like me, so that I'm not attached to the things that we talk about. I want you to feel free to make any positive or negative comments about anything that comes up at the table today. In qualitative research, which is what this is, there are no wrong answers. There are only just answers. So everything you say is important. It's one of those things where, like when you were in school, you expected to get marks for everything. At this table, you get an A for everything you say. That's how important it is. So the only thing is, no wrong answers. So we have some guidelines that we follow that will allow us to work together here. First, let me tell you a little bit about this facility. For those of you who've never been in a facility like this is what they call a research facility. It has mics in the ceiling here somewhere. I suspect that those are the microphones. And they pick up what we're saying here. They go back to a double set of tape recorders, which is like my secretary. That way I don't have to take any notes. You notice I don't have any pads or anything. I just have my guide here. The idea is I don't want to have to take any notes. I want to be able to sit in here and discuss with you. I use that to write a report. Not so much who said what, but what got said. So I'm not interested in, if David said something, although I may ask you to write your name on something so I can keep it straight for my report. I'm not going to use your name in the report. So you don't have to worry about, is Luke going to say that you said it? And the answer is no. But I am interested in what you said, because that's what's important. This is a mirror. It's called a one-way mirror. Some people call it two-way mirror, but it's a one-way mirror. Some of my colleagues are behind there. They couldn't wait to hear what was coming out in the report, so they decided to come tonight and observe this session. So they'll be back there observing this session. Again, they won't be saying what you said. They won't remember you. They'll only remember that you said something. Let me see. That's it. There'll be a lady that'll come in to help me run the tape deck. Since I don't pretend to know very much about this tape deck, she'll come in and run the tape deck for me. She'll run this tape recorder for me. We're going to be listening to some stuff tonight. I just want to thank you from the beginning for 3 things. I want to thank you for your time, for coming here, certainly a late hour, and we're going to be here, a couple of hours. I want to thank you for your opinion. That's what you're really getting paid for. You're getting paid for your opinion. But I also want to thank you for your courage, because it does take some courage to come out and sit with a bunch of people that you don't know and tell me your opinions, while you're in the room. So I really appreciate that. Here is the guidelines for us being here together. Talk in a voice at least as loud as mine, one at a time. Again, that's for the tape. Because if you talk over each other, you can imagine what it sounds like when my secretary goes to try to transcribe the thing. She can't say, what, who said, can't pick it up. So that's the only reason for that guideline. so that she can hear clearly what you had to say. So if somebody's talking, just wait until they finish and then you get in, okay? Avoid your side conversations with the neighbors. Now this is a hard one, because I know how, I mean, you get going, you get to thinking about something, you want to say it to somebody. But that's the stuff I came for. You know, I came to hear whatever you say to that other person, because that's usually the juicy stuff. That's the stuff that counts, you know. So if you can, avoid that and then say it out to the table or say it out to me. I need to hear from everybody in the course of the conversation. But you don't have to answer every question. Sometimes you may be silent on something. It just doesn't interest you, or you don't have an opinion. Fine. That's great. However, if you do have an opinion, I do want to hear from you. Okay? You don't need to address all the comments to me. You can respond directly to somebody else. Ted, if Charles way down the end of the table says something and you feel something about it, say, but Charles, here's how here's how I feel about that. Or Norris, same way. Or you can address a comment, however. But this is like a free-flowing conversation. I don't expect everything to come through me. I'm here to facilitate conversation, not to direct it. You know what I mean? We will observe what I call Luke's no smoking rule, which is simply this: if you do smoke, just take yourself up, go out and wherever there's smoking out there, smoke. When you come on back, join us. That way you don't have to be worried about if you're a smoker or not. We don't make you wrong for that. But we do ask that you don't smoke here, since this is a no smoking rule. The thing I ask of you most is that you say what is true for you, that you have the courage of your convictions, and even if you're the only one that feels that way. Say, for instance, there's a strong talker around the table. It's always a strong talker and somebody that's kind of quiet. But if you're the quiet guy, but you feel a certain way, stick to your guns. Because this is what I want to hear. Your opinion counts, just like the guy who talks good, So have the courage of your convictions. You'll get a shot. I'll recognize you at some point that maybe you want to say something. I'll make sure you get it said. And don't sell out to the group opinion. Now, suppose the group is saying something that you feel. Then feel free to say, yeah, that's how I feel. Charles is speaking for me, or Roy is speaking for me. You don't have to say it if the guy is speaking for you. You can say, yeah, that's how I feel. So that way, you can get a lot said real quick, and I'll know how the group feels based on the fact that you're going along with somebody. But don't go along if you don't feel that way. So you see what I mean? It's kind of a wicked game we're going to play, but at least it lets you get your opinion in one way or another. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, great. I've done a lot of talking, so let's go around the table and introduce ourselves. Tell me, I'm going to ask about everything. I want to know your name, your age, how long you've lived in this area, if you work, what your occupation is, something about your hobbies and avocations, what you do in your free time, in other words. And your marital status, whether you're married or not, and how many kids you have, and stuff like that. Now, recognizing that there's a lot of us, and we got a lot of work to do, I will be responsible for keeping us on track, because I got a guide here, I got some specific questions I want to ask you, and I'll kind of say, okay, we spent enough time on that question, let's see where we can move on. So that way, I'll be responsible for that. But you be responsible, if you will, for seeing to it that I hear what you got to say. Because I came all the way down here to hear, so I do want to hear. So yeah, your name, your age, how long you've lived in the area, if you work, what's your occupation, your hobbies or avocations, what you do in spare time, and your marital status, the number of children, and what they're like. Okay, anybody shoot, anybody go.
Thomas Woods.
Thomas
Woods.
Go.
I worked with the U.S. Postal Service, been there for 26 years. Not married. Have two sons, 29 and 18. My hobby is specifically sports. I do a lot of fishing, hunting.
Is that what I heard before everybody started laughing?
I'm sorry?
Is that what everybody was laughing about when you said fishing earlier? No. Oh no, it was something else. Okay.
That day I was 52.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
52
great.
years of age.
Thanks for getting us started. All right. Thanks for being here too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
My name is Joe Deal. I'm 55 years of age. Been retired in several more days from Lockheed Aircraft. Been there 38 years.
Congratulations.
And I'm a supervisor on the flight line of production flight inspection of the aircraft. I'm married. I had one son, but he's grown. I didn't put that on the thing. So he worked for North American Aircraft in Palmdale, California.
Okay. All right. And what do you do in your spare time, Joe?
Womanizer.
Now I'm gonna take you seriously. And it's on the tape.
I womanize and I exercise. I do a lot of exercise. I've been on a strict weight loss program. I lost 64 pounds.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm David Harris. I work in the grocery business. I drive a forklift. I've been there 20 years. As super value stores. I got one daughter, 15, a son, 9.
Okay.
My hobbies, I like to fish, I like to hunt, and any kind of sports activity. I enjoy that.
All right.
And that's about it.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
My name is Ted Campbell, Fiddle Campbell.
Okay.
Married, kids are grown, I put a name on it.
Okay.
I have 4.
All right.
And self-employed, but I have a night kick, you know. Doing John Turtle work. My wife on a business, you know. So, and my hobby is all sports. Except hockey going in the batting and soccer.
But everything else.
Yes, everything else. And what the other question was?
You got children. You got age.
Yeah.
You get age.
51.
51.
Yeah.
What you do in your spare time?
Spare time,
Your kids.
I do work.
Yeah. How long you been here?
I do more work.
Tell me
I've been here all my life.
Okay.
Except the time and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Welcome, Tidra. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Yeah.
I'm Richard Watson, and I work for Standard Joseph in computer. And
Say it again. I missed it.
Richard Watson.
Richard Watson?
Watson. Yeah.
Okay.
I work for Standard Joseph in
Okay.
computer, and I'm married. I got one daughter, and I'll be 49 years old tomorrow if I live.
Oh, congratulations.
And
Happy birthday.
thank you. And sports.
That's right. We'll try to get you out in time for your birthday. How's that? That's a good goal. Yeah.
And sports. I like sports. And just watching all sports like on TV. Stuff like that.
All right. Thank you.
My name is Earl Minson. I'm employed with the City of Atlanta, Department of Park and Recreation, Bureau of Parks. I've been employed there 20 years. I have 3 kids. My son 8, that's one son 18, daughter 23.
Okay.
42 years old.
42 years old. All right.
My name is Leroy Robertson. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I've been current in Atlanta for the last 25 years.
Okay.
I'm 46 years old. I'm married. Have 2 kids by a previous marriage, age 14 and 12. Currently working for Georgia Tech Physical Plant. My title is assistant foreman of construction. I guess basically what I enjoy doing on my off time is watching good football or basketball game.
Okay. All right.
Hey, you don't watch your women, man?
Not on tape. Well, welcome Earl and welcome Leroy. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Good.
Yeah, my name is Richard Blank Sr.
Okay.
Like Thomas over here, I'm in the postal business.
Okay.
I'm a postal officer for the U.S. Army. I have 3 post offices, Fort McPherson out here, Fort Gillum, and Fort Buchanan in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
and I'm 46,
All right.
like Leroy. I've been married 27 years this April.
All right.
Got 2 boys, one 17, one 15.
Okay.
One just entering college, Talladega. And I don't particularly like any sports,
Okay.
but I used to sing halfway professionally,
Uh-huh.
so I sing in my
So you do that in your spare time. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay, I'm Charles Favors, and I'm 41, I'm divorced, got 2 kids, got a daughter 21, a son 16. And I work for the Kmart Corporation, and my title is assistant supervisor out there. I've been there 21 years, and my hobby is repairing small engines.
Mm-hmm.
On
anything, any small engine. All right. Okay. Welcome, Charles. Thanks for being here.
My name is Norris Jackson. I'm a native Atlantan. I work for Old Town Villa Apartment as maintenance. Well, I'm the assistant maintenance supervisor there.
Okay.
I've been working there for the past 3.5 years. I've got a wife for 10 years. I have a daughter that's 3.5 years old. And my hobbies are fishing and photography and little sports on the side.
Okay. All right. All right. Just to complete the circle, I'm Luke. Last name's Henderson. Let me see. I've been in this area all of 3 hours. I just got off a plane from Washington D.C. I work outside for a firm in Maryland, and this is what I do. I go all over the country talking to people about products, services, ideas. You know, anything that people want me to talk to people about. That's what I do for a living. Get to meet a lot of folks that way. Let me see. Hobbies. I mostly. I'm a runner, so I just.
Motivator.
Yeah, I run. So my hobby is learning all the cities in the country by running around them. Yeah, seriously, just run around the city and see all the stuff in the city. So it's kind of fun. I'm married and I don't have any kids. Been married 25 years.
You lucky.
Yeah. All right. I want to start out with a question. Overall, are things in Georgia moving in the right direction, or are things pretty seriously off on the wrong track?
What thing you talking about now?
I'm talking about the state. I'm talking about where it's
Oh,
going.
here, we fall you behind time. we still in the dog age.
How is it that you say that?
Everything, look at we got all the lottery in Florida and all the dog tracks in Alabama. We want to go, we have to go all the way down to go to Atlantic City or New Jersey. Or you have to go to Las Vegas, you won't have them. And the thing you have around here, you can't participate in them no way.
How's that?
Because you're black.
How's that?
You can't go to the Standard Club, can't go to the Cherokee Club.
Uh-huh.
I like to take my wife out sometime out on Buckhead, put pay to eat a good steak or a good shrimp, then I can't do that. Don't even have a place on Campbell Road no more, you take them eat, like the red lobster.
Because?
You're black. And the black neighborhood around here being deteriorated because for some reason or another, the man with the money, he know how to get a man in a position, then he can come just wipe him out when you want to.
Uh-huh.
Black people, I know that I tried to get a loan, a SBA loan. I couldn't get one. And I used to run a grocery store for 7 years for a guy.
Uh-huh.
But them Chinese or whatever you call them come in here, they give them anything they want.
Uh-huh.
And I went and fought for this country. And that's a big mistake. I won't do that no more if I had to.
Uh-huh.
Because it don't do no good to fight and come back and still second grade citizen.
Uh-huh. Is Joe talking for the rest of you?
I'm talking to myself. But
Yeah, I know.
I agree, basically.
I mean, who agrees? What I'm asking is who agrees and who disagrees.
I agree, basically. I think the state of Georgia has become stagnant with the good old boys and
That's
in the Senate and House of Representatives, wherever. We are somewhat behind the times in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, one of the good old boys was the insurance commissioner. Had our insurances, automobile insurance, going out of the roof. These insurance companies do what they want to.
the issues that are being presented to us on the gubernatorial platform are just being kind of wiped over, and not to mention crime in the area. So basically, I agree with what Joe has said. We are all a little behind time. Well, we need fresh new blood. We do need new blood, but we don't know where it's going to come from.
Okay. North? And
Yeah.
And then Richard?
Basically, I agree about what Joe said about, the state of Georgia is behind time and everything. But where I disagree with him is about they don't have any place for blacks. I think blacks can go, especially in Atlanta, anywhere. But the problem is you just got to have money to do those things with. And a lot of blacks is underpaid here, as compared to their white counterparts. But the place that he was naming everything, you just got to have money and be in the right social climate to it, to do those things. But you just got to have the money for it.
Let's just, Richard, we want to talk to you. Okay.
Well, I agree with what everybody was saying about the state. When he said state of Georgia, I think we are behind time, and because what they were saying, the Tom Murphy's and what like say the insurance commissioner is. When they get into office and it's during the campaign, most time we say during the campaign that I'm gonna do so and so and so and so on. But after they get in office, then they forget what they told you during the campaign. And like he's talking about the insurance, the car insurance. We heard a whole lot of talk this summer about if I get to be insurance commissioner, I'm gonna bring down the insurance. The rates of insurance, what I'm trying to say. And as soon as they get in office, then I'm almost sure they will tend to not.
I just want to make one correction. They don't forget. They don't intend to do it in the first place.
Well, maybe I
Yeah,
should
yeah,
say.
well,
That's what I
yeah.
should say. That's what I should say.
Right,
I
yeah.
go along with you.
Is that what you meant?
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. They
Okay.
forget. They don't forget, but just don't do it. That's what I should say.
Okay, you're Richard 1 from now on out. If you don't mind, could you be Richard the second rather than the third?
I mind.
Oh, you mind? Okay, what's your last name?
Richard B. No, that's
All right, we
fine.
make it Richard B. What's your first name?
No, that's
What's your last name?
Watson.
Watson. We make it Richard W. Richard B. Okay, Richard B. Go ahead.
I think Joe is correct on some points. However, I think every state in the United States for minorities are behind. I just can't put it on Georgia. I used to have a job. I used to train firefighters and policemen around the country, from California to New York. I don't see any difference. I really don't see. They say that Atlanta is the black mecca in this region for everything, political action, for jobs and everything. But if you don't have something going for you in Atlanta, you're going to starve.
That's true.
Just like
Anywhere
in
else.
D.C. I stayed in D.C. 17 years and I bounced around everywhere. I did everything. Did quite well, but just decided to come to this area. And if it's racism in Georgia, it's institutionalized racism in New York or St. Louis. They do the same thing. It's no different. I don't see any difference across the country. Atlanta has as many opportunities as New York has, percentage-wise. But we're going to find the same thing, and I don't mean to be too diplomatic. I'm just saying you just can't say, yeah. Yeah, Atlanta, when you say, are we behind? Yeah, we are as behind as anybody else, but I think we are as ahead as anybody else also. There are some good factors going on down here. We have some good opportunities, just like every place else. But all that stuff you said, same thing goes on every place else.
I understand that, but what I'm saying, I'm not familiar with all what's going on. I'm speaking what right here, where I live at. You understand? What I think needs to be done here. But you talking about bouncing around place to place, man, they got a lot going. Yeah. If you don't know nobody when you go to apply for a job, if you ain't one of the good old boys in the clique with this here social clique around here in Atlanta, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Same thing in New York.
I know it, but I know what I'm trying to say. It shouldn't be like that. If you qualify to go down there and be the assistant fire chief, you shouldn't have to go and talk to some of them people in the city hall and say, hey, I need this job. You should go down and get it on your own merit. And we putting ourselves in a position with all our black politicians, they doing it to us too. They screwing us in the butt, we ain't getting no grief in.
I hear it.
Amen.
I hear it. Yeah, Leroy.
Well, I'd just like to add a little bit to both, what all of them said, you know, because I agree with Richard B. that racism is universal. It's not just in the South. For being, like I was born in Birmingham and raised through the 60s. So I probably
you know
just
about-
more
you know
see,
about-
what I'm trying to say.
you know
on the
about
same,
Bull, huh?
on the same token, when you say that, you know, like I moved to Atlanta for economic reasons at the time when I did come. That's 25 years ago. Atlanta at that time was a booming metropolitan area for blacks. And I think they had great opportunities for if you applied yourself and you worked, because like everybody at this table here is some kind of position. And I think that they scribed that during the 60s and on up through, you know. And regardless of what you know, it ain't so much about a cliquers thing. It's understood if you're black, that you got to be 3 times better than your white counterpart just to even hold a job that each one of us got here now. And I don't feel that, you know, that Atlanta is that much different from anywhere else. If I was, like you said, if I was in California, you know, I'm still facing the same thing. And about first black politicians and so forth, a lot of good help came out of it, you know, and then like some bad. But on the same token, you got to keep in mind the politician can only go so far as they permit it. You know, right now, if you own your own business, you only can go so far as you permit it. You know, nobody's not in charge. Everybody's accountable and answer to somebody. And you know, like I think some strides have been made. You know, in civil rights, job opportunities, and everywhere. You know, I don't think none of us would be lame enough to say it's not. You know, I think all of us probably have the background in our different fields to probably hold higher position than we do. But yet still, you know, like you're saying, that's what probably some racism at, you know, and they're gonna be there.
Speaking of those politicians, what I want you to do is I want you to do some writing for me. I'm going to mention a person's name, and I want you to write down whatever good thoughts come to mind when you hear the name, okay?
Folks don't know good thought coming to mind.
Question mark.
Then you write that down. Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to write down the bad thoughts too. But let's just say that Zell Miller, regardless of how you voted or intend to vote, I want to know what good thoughts come to mind when you hear that name. Some people finish quick. I see some people still writing. Okay. When you get through, just put your head up and I'll know that you're through. Okay, everybody's head is up. Tell me. Write down the bad thoughts that come to mind.
The same Zell Miller.
Same Zell Miller. Just draw a line between those two too, see, so I'll be able to understand the difference between those. Okay, let's hear the good first. Some good thoughts that came to mind when I said Zell Miller. Ted?
I thought about the lottery, man. And that lottery will help the schools.
Uh-huh.
And the teachers get more pay.
Uh-huh.
And that was my first thought right there.
Okay,
Because
great.
they said on having the money, you know.
Great.
The state claimed they don't have no money, so why not the lottery? People go to Florida. They go to racetrack over in Alabama, so why not have it here?
Okay. All right. Frank?
Thanks. I didn't have any good thoughts.
You didn't have any. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
some
I'm gonna wait
question
for the
mark.
bad ones. Okay. So you had a question mark. Okay.
I just put a question mark.
Okay, great. So some good thoughts that were written down.
What he's talking about doing for the kids and things, they get caught using dope or being caught, put them in this boot camp
Uh-huh.
and give them some discipline. They need some discipline because if the black kids don't start getting disciplined, we gonna be out of black men by the turn of the century. They gonna be annihilated themselves with drugs and killing each other.
Mhm.
Cause I see it happen every day out there in Allenville. I mean, ain't nothing the police hands are really tied.
Mhm.
Cause no sooner they go shoot one, everybody holler police brutality. Or they go crack his head or something, they say police brutality, you know? But we gotta get back to basics, and a lot of the responsibility got to go back to the parents. They got to raise the kid, and I think every kid in this country ought to go to the army when he finish high school. Cause that's where they get a lot of discipline. If that man tells him to be in the bed at 7:30, he gonna be in the bed at 7:30.
I hear you. Okay. Good things. Thanks, Joe. Good things.
Well, basically what I wrote down was say good working for Georgia. And what I meant about that statement was, the man was lieutenant governor for 16 years. Personally myself, I voted for him for lieutenant governor. And the way I look at it, you know, he had to be good for Georgia for 16 years. If not, he would have stayed in office for 16 years.
And all this other stuff. I thought for the leadership.
That's a good idea.
I think he was a real good speaker and very convincing in what he said and what he come across with, what he said he's gonna do.
Okay.
I really believe that he really work at what he said he would do.
Okay.
Might not always get there, but he work at it.
Uh-huh. Okay. Any other good stuff before we move to the band?
Yeah, I wrote down, I believe he was honest and fair on the way, you know, on the way I followed his career when he was a lieutenant governor on certain things. And, and from the way he speak, he seemed like he's an honest and fair man.
He look you in the eye.
Yeah.
Look here
I
now.
got that eye-to-eye contact. That's what I like about him.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe. Ted?
I think that Zell Miller make a better governor than Young, because Young actually didn't do nothing for the black folks, you know. Our 8 years being the mayor of Atlanta. And that's what I thought about the good thing.
So
I
you
think
said
Zell
good.
Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you put your name, just your first name at the top of the right-hand corner, because I'm gonna collect your
Right here?
worksheets. Yeah, no, yeah, right up at the top in the right-hand corner. So that way I can kind of keep track of what everybody said too. Okay, now tell me the bad things you wrote down when I said the name Zelma.
I didn't have anything. I
You
didn't
didn't
have anything.
You didn't have anything. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who didn't have anything. All right, what were some of the bad stuff that people who did have some? Earl?
I mean, to me, wanting to bring in paramutual betting, that's bad to me.
How's that, Earl?
I just, I've been in several states where I got, paramutual betting at, and the only thing I see the outcome of it is basically that the only tax break they usually give is property tax. And the whites own all the land anyway, so the blacks wind up paying more taxes. I don't,
So you don't
that's
see
why
that?
That's why I see in Alabama, Florida, and all the rest of it.
But I got $1,900 a year I have to pay, and I sure would give me a little relief. I'm ready to retire too. I can need all the relief on my taxes I can get.
Okay. Thanks, Earl. Okay. Bad stuff.
Well, I don't know if you consider it bad. What I written down was too long to become governor. And I feel like with the disaster we went through under Frank Harris, I feel he should have ran 4 years ago. Matter of fact, 8 years ago.
Okay. All right.
I
Wrote down bad stuff.
I'm not an expert on politicians or whatever, but I haven't heard too much of what Mr. Miller has done to put blacks in his immediate vicinity and cabinet. I haven't heard of many blacks being promoted or anything around Zell Miller.
I hear you.
Maybe they are there, but I haven't heard of it.
He promoted Mr. Eugene Walker and several more people down there.
Yeah.
But now,
Okay.
here's another thing.
Wait a minute. I want to hear all the rest of the. Have we cleaned the slate on the black stuff
And
on the bad stuff?
Then the only other thing, I guess we're speaking as individuals, he doesn't appear to me as having a real. I'm gonna have to go back to the good though. Excuse me, just a moment.
Okay.
The good I put down shrewd. I think he's a shrewd politician.
Okay.
And when you break it down to the bad, his relationships with blacks, the way I see it, is not that great.
Uh-huh.
But he's a shrewd politician, and that brings it right down. Like I look at you and say, I love you, but you know that's a lie. That's what I mean. I mean, the top supports the bottom. That's just
I hear what you're saying. Okay. Joe, you were going to say something and I cut you off.
Yeah, he promoted a guy named Eugene Walker, put several more people down there in office there. And another thing, just cause a person black, that don't mean he qualified for a job.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
If the man qualified, and I'm quite sure that all this has been under consideration, they will look at it and give the man the job. Just like we got people, I know some people work for the City Atlanta Police Department down in City Hall right now, and got a big old business being down there that I have with a hole in my head talking to you that today. You go down there to City Hall and try to pay your water bill or get something going down there. Shit, damn people let you down crazy or something, man.
Joe, I heard you.
That's all I can say.
I heard you. I heard you loud and clear. I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you. All right. However you decide to vote in the runoff, what is the best reason to vote for Zell Miller for governor? Tell me that. What's the best reason for voting for Zell Miller? Oh, anybody? Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, like I'm strictly for the lottery. Like I go back to some of the roots, and I thought, like you mentioned, Earl mentioned Alabama, so it's been disaster. It haven't been disaster because speaking for my grandmother living Alabama still, she don't pay no homeowners tax because of the reason of the lottery. The schools, the things in Alabama, which was in the dark ages, today is a lot better than the schools here in the city of Atlanta.
That's right.
I'm speaking in
That's
Atlanta.
right.
That's
so
because of, I think, of the lottery. Well, personally, me, the issue of the lottery is going to be a big factor in the way I vote.
I hear you. Okay. All right. Best reasons for voting for Zell Miller.
I would say the best reason for my voting for Zell Miller would be, like Leroy's, lottery, as well as the insurance, auto insurance issue.
Uh-huh.
I have a thing against insurance companies. I guess you can tell that.
I hate them. I didn't notice that at all. No. That didn't come up.
They're rip-offs.
Yeah.
The only thing you need is a gun, and you know.
Yeah.
But that and crime, those three things are the four most important things. Now he hasn't said too much.
I see other people shaking their heads. Is Thomas speaking for you?
Yeah.
Is he speaking for
Yeah.
Charles?
He's speaking for me.
He's speaking for you, Norris?
He's staying on crime, you know.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
David, is he speaking? Is Thomas speaking for you?
I vote for him for that reason also,
Okay.
because when Young was mayor, crime rate shot up through the roof.
I hear you.
And just as soon as Jackson got in, it's already going down.
I hear you.
You know
Okay.
why? You know why? Look who he got for the acting chief of police down there. You got to put somebody to know the streets out there. And that's what man is doing. He put Elton Bell out there. A man been in the street all his life. He know every crook and turn.
That's right.
And Elton will fight them police down there. And he will find.
And Young didn't do nothing but demote
Bell.
every time. He couldn't stand his gut.
That's right.
Thomas?
Young,
Thanks, Doris.
on the police issue, Young used textbook policemen. How many of you have been in combat?
I better come back.
You been?
You
Would
go
you
by
rather?
the book,
Would you go? Would you rather go in combat with an old sergeant,
old
or
sergeant.
90-day wonder?
Old
There's a
sergeant.
difference in the two.
Old sergeant. You'll live. Old sergeant.
That's right.
You'll live.
Okay, so tell me this. What kind of person do you think Zell Miller is? Is he fair-minded? Is he good for the community? Is that kind of stuff? Has he gotten stuff done?
I believe he'll be good for community. Anytime a man in that Senate down there challenged Tom Murphy that he had get on some issues down there and get results.
Stood up.
And stood up against Tom Murphy. Tom Murphy the whip for the whole state of Georgia. But Tom Murphy said the good old boys go that way.
Uh-huh.
And he have stood up down on some issues against Tom Murphy. When you fight Tom Murphy, you generally don't win nothing in Georgia.
That's political suicide.
That's political suicide. The man cut his throat when he fought Tom Murphy to get this lottery thing. Tom Murphy didn't, you see what they did, he come out and then thought him on a slide away, then I didn't know the lottery had that much effect on the elect. But he wouldn't say he endorsed Zell Miller, but he did it on a slide away.
That's, you mean
That's
Tom
how
Murphy did that for Zell?
Yeah, on a slide away, he come out next day in the paper, he didn't know the lottery was gonna be a big issue.
Well, now you are black men sitting around the table talking about Zell Miller. Can I think that he has support in the black community or the Afro-American community, however you call it? Does he have support in that community? Whoever. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah, he got a lot of support.
What is that support like, and what constitutes that support?
Well, the thing that constitutes that support was the fact that Andy Young took for granted the black vote. That's number one.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Number two is, a lot of people are saying, just like most of us around here, he didn't do anything for black. Andy Young is a businessman.
That's right.
And there's no doubt about it that he'll bring business to the state. So how much of that, how big a piece of the pie are we as black people gonna get out of that business? You see what I'm saying? Number two is, and I find it interesting because, you know, not surveying, but just talking from person to person, people have not forgotten how he snubbed Jesse Jackson
That's it.
when he ran for president.
That's it.
He actually snubbed him. He was too chicken to say
Chicken shit,
anything.
that's what it was, chicken shit.
To say anything. So people haven't forgotten. You know, and they're holding him. He didn't get the black support he thought he was going to get out of Fulton to have when counties and so forth.
Leroy, you were going to say something?
Yeah, about Zell Miller, you know, having a part of the black vote. You know, in my opinion, you know, the writing's on the wall. The man been in office 16 years, and the black vote kept him in office for 16 years. I think that he carried, and I think black people have now think for themselves. They don't just jump and vote just because of your color. The color may have an issue, but what else you got office side more than color, and I think that's what it is because, especially I think all the black men in our age and older is getting to the point of where they got to look at their retirement, they got to look at their children, what kind of environment they're gonna be in. Most of them, strive to try to get a home, and then they're gonna try to maintain the city itself and out of state, matter of fact too, because whatever it is, we're gonna be a part of it. And for my eye, I see some hard times coming. You're gonna be, and not just for Georgia, for the whole United States. I was looking at Oprah Winfrey show yesterday, and Dick Gregory made a statement on there that was very appealing to me. He said that people, especially black people in this country, better open your eyes. He said, with all the changes have been made in Russia and so forth, he said it was a time where bigots and so forth could always hate communism. Since communism is gone now they're going to start looking at blacks, Jews, and so forth. He said, you better be aware of what's going to happen.
I see people shaking their heads. Is this what? Is this a consensus around the table? I mean, Richard B. Richard W. What do you think?
Thomas, I think, hit on the issue a few minutes ago by Andrew Young when he was talking about bringing business. I think he said something about bringing business in, and I think Andrew Young will bring business in Georgia. But the business, to me, what he brought into Atlanta, Georgia, was those Chinamans or Chin. That's what. Though he did not. To me, he did not help the black people as. Although he said, "Oh well, I brought in this business, I brought in that business," but who did he help? That's the issue.
All the business he brought in. How many blacks were hired in the
Richard
positions like that?
Richard B. Go ahead.
I don't know who he helped, but I would like for us to retrogress, just go backwards just a moment. And we all said that Georgia, just like other places, were racist, right? And we believe in racism because that's what we've gotten. Now, you're telling me that Zell Miller is not going to be a part of that institutionalized racism. He hasn't been a part of that in the last 16 years. See, it seems like most of your statements are conflicting. If you agreed with us 35, 40 minutes ago to say that it was just as racist as anything, And when you make those kind of statements, that's black and white or red and purple. So what you're saying in a Zell Miller administration, that he has either snowed us very well, or you have a lot of faith in a white Southern gentleman to think that he's going to make everything better for us in Atlanta?
Earl, hang on a minute, Thomas. Earl,
Does that make sense? I mean, I'm asking.
Earl, what is it that has you laughing?
I agree with it.
You agree with Richard B?
Yeah.
What Richard B just said?
Well, I agree most. I think it's just crazy to think that Zell Miller would do more for blacks than
So okay, let me read a list of reasons to vote for Zell Miller. Okay, tell me whether you think each is a good reason to vote for Zell Miller. And we talked about some of these, but I want to kind of get a sense of it. He would introduce the state lottery.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's a
reason.
good one.
Okay.
Bad.
He would. I'm sorry.
Bad.
That's bad. Yeah. So you kind of think that would not be a good reason to vote for him. Okay. What was that? What was that, Richard? Not if he wears that 23 million.
I know what you mean now, but
He would do something about the crime problem.
yeah, that's a good reason to vote
That's
for.
a good reason.
Yeah,
He would make the schools better.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one. No, that's-
That would be a good reason to
But
vote.
wait a minute.
That's the only way the school will
Wait,
get
wait.
whatever news, that's.
The man who will make the school better in the city of Atlanta, they fired him for doing his damn job. Jerome Harris had brought the city school of Atlanta up, and just cause he wasn't flipping around with some of them women and firing them women and men who, when you go in the classroom, they was in their line with smoking. They got rid of a man. Then we got the power as a taxpayer now. This what worries me. We give a man $112,000. He's sitting down in the landmark
2 years.
for 2 years. I mean, sitting down in the landmark hotel, just looking out over the city of Atlanta, and say, what them fools did? They put me on Easy Street. And that ain't right. But them people on the board, remember that the next election, they coming off that board. Every one of them coming off that board, buddy.
Okay. He could work effectively with the legislature and South Georgia.
Definitely so. Definitely so.
Okay. All right, I got a written exercise for you. All right, you ready? Please write down whatever good thoughts come to mind when you hear the name Andy Young. Again, regardless of how you're voted or gonna vote, what good thoughts come to mind when you hear the name Andy Young? Don't influence the vote yet, Joe. Keep quiet until, I know that was a silent way, but keep quiet. Yeah, good thoughts. What good thoughts come to mind when you hear the name Andy Young, regardless of how you voted? All right. Now that you finish writing the good thoughts, okay, give you another second or so. Write down the bad thoughts that come to mind when you hear the name Andy Young. Okay. All right, let's discuss the good ones. What did you write down that was good?
Well, in my opinion, it might sound racist or well, but when I say black man for governor, the reason I say that because it's good as a black person to see in this time that a black man have had the opportunity to run for governor.
I hear you. Okay.
I'm a hell of a businessman.
Hell of a businessman.
By that I mean that he knows the ins and outs, and he can negotiate, as he has done, businesses and business opportunities moving to the, you know, Atlanta area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay. All right. What'd you write down? Who else wrote something?
I don't-
Yeah, David.
He was a civil rights leader during the civil rights movement. Now that was good.
Uh-huh.
That's about it.
Okay. Okay.
I
Good
wrote
stuff.
down,
Yeah.
He's a good politician, very good speaker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? Good stuff. Yeah.
He's a
Earl.
preacher.
He's a good preacher. Okay.
Yeah, two things. He's a preacher and he known internationally. That's two
He
things.
knows the international.
I mean, he's sort of known internationally.
He's known international. Okay. All right. What's good about that?
I just think he could promote business better.
Okay. All right.
Well, you know, they say that to make your home good, you have to know what's going on abroad.
Uh-huh.
You know, he got a lot of contacts. He's been in meetings like this with everybody,
Uh-huh.
with the top to the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And you know, just like Georgia, just like New York and whatever, to get those businesses to come in, you're gonna have to pick up the telephone. If they don't know you, they won't deal with you.
And that's a real advantage.
That's a great advantage in this world.
What doubts do you have about him?
Where you want us to start?
At the top or at the bottom?
In the middle,
You
huh?
named it.
Tell like the bad things.
Yeah. No. What doubts? I want to know the doubts.
More than anything else, the way I question his sincerity.
How's that now, Richard
I
B?
question his sincerity.
Yeah, I understand what you said,
I
but
don't
I mean,
know whether, you know, we have to.
Now you coming home? Come on now. You
Come
coming
on,
home now?
that's right.
You know, we live in a time when everybody makes more money, when everybody does well, and you get caught up in being a statesman and a politician.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, the man I heard, what's the fellows on the radio, Joe Walker. He said, from all indications, Andy Young has already sat around a table like this because he will be the next black president, or the first one we will see if we live long enough. Andy Young will be president of the United States.
Uh-huh.
I don't know whether that's good or bad or indifferent, but if he has those type of goals on his mind right now, Georgia, whatever it takes is a stepping stone. And we're so far back now on the totem pole, we don't need anybody to step on us. We need somebody to have as their objective making Georgia, Atlanta better.
Agree with you.
That's
Now,
right.
that's just me.
That's right.
I think his goals and his vision is too great for Georgia. Now, that's what I think. I don't think he ought to be running for governor now. I think because he's not for Georgia.
Thank you, Richard B. Leroy.
Something similar to what Richard was thinking. That's my opinion, you know. I think Andy Young do have some expectations of a high political office. I figured he must, at this time, if he doesn't become governor of Georgia, I feel the next senator or whatever election he's going to be looking at something. Now, one thing that I kind of warned about at this time, you know, I wonder why was his motive. I think everybody should exceed as high as they should. But at the time, what I was thinking, even if you have a political future in mind, I wonder why that he wouldn't consider this year lieutenant governor. With Zell Miller and Young both, I thought would have probably been an unstoppable combination. But that would kind of made me start looking at that, and for several reasons, because like he thought we're past that, you know. And to me, I feel if he could have, if he'd have ran for lieutenant governor, I think he would have been in without any question. He'd have had 4 years of gaining experience on the government level, and he refused to do that. You know, and that's one of the things would kind of have me leaning the way Richard said. And I think his goals is sort of, it's not really looking at the common person, you know. And like I said, I like going back to the 60s, so I knew when, but like a lot of the civil rights fighters and so forth, seemed like they kind of forgot
Where they come from?
Their roots, you know, their interests now
Their
don't
money.
seem to be the common man as much as it is the business folks and so forth. And I think that's the little people is the ones that seem to be questioning it more. You know, because like when you say business coming in, and then like I look at some of his TV commercials, he down there in South Georgia with the farmers saying that he get the Russian to buy their soybeans and so forth. You know, but then still the white farmers is the mecca of the farm industry. You know, most of the black farmers that was in a way lost their farms and so forth already. You know, and so to me, it seems like it's like he said, it's a stepping stone. You know, like he more interested, like his interest was to go out for the white vote more than the black, because I think he feels his color would automatically assure that. And that's one of the things I kind of...
Thanks, Leroy. I got it. Yeah.
I feel like he
well, let me just have Thomas and then you, Charles.
He brought up an interesting point, and it's something I hadn't thought about. And while Richard was speaking, I thought about, you know, one of the questions is that Jesse Jackson, when he was running, well, he came out of the pulpit, in essence, onto the political scene. He doesn't have any experience. So he may be taking a page from those statements and using it. If he's elected, he can at least, well, I was governor of Georgia, you know, whatever little thing he done. And he'll do something, don't get me wrong. And it's going to be something positive. Now, whether it's going to be positive for blacks or for whites or both, it's going to be something, yeah, it's going to be for Andy, but it's going to be positive.
I hear you.
I'll go.
Okay, Trump?
Well, I just feel like Andy just more or less him and a lot of other black politicians, they just really took all the blacks for granted. You know, I got it made with them, so let's go on the other side and see what we can do on the other side.
They didn't stroke us right.
Tell me, what are the, you know, following on behind what you just said, difficult question, but what are the best reasons to vote for Andy Young if you were going to vote for him? Thomas?
Well, I would, if I was going to vote for him, I would say definitely the business possibility of maybe, let's say Sony, or Panasonic, moving to the state. Or better yet, Toyota.
Oh, so this is the business angle.
Yeah, I'm looking at the business angle.
Okay.
The opportunities for jobs. Now, I'm just lumping everything together.
That
That
would be the key thing.
The key thing.
Another good reason. Yeah.
But it still relates to the business thing. I think with Andy Young governor, Atlanta would have a better opportunity to get the Olympics here than with what he's saying with his political clout from now outside.
I hear you. Okay. And that, again, would be the jobs and business. Richard?
I have to ditto that. And because I'm military and, well, I work for the military and government here, Andy Young, you know, they've been in conferences with, what's his name, Sam Nunn and all. They gonna keep these military posts around here open. They're thinking about closing Fort Gillum. That's right across there. They've been talking about that for a long time. But I don't want it to close, and nobody around here wants it to close. You might not think about it directly, but indirectly, a military community like this one, they shoot a lot of money indirectly around everybody gains. Even blacks gain. So
Thanks.
you know, he knows those
All right. I want you to use your imagination and think that this is election day. Okay, and we'll get Earl to wake up. Earl, it's election day. Okay.
That's what he'll be doing over here.
It's Earl. It's election day, and the candidates are Andy Young and Zell Miller. You get yourself down to the polls, okay? And the polls are giving you lots of literature. I mean, you stand outside, people handing you literature and everything, and you have to wait in line, which is usual. Okay. Now you get to the voting booth and you close the curtain. You got all that? Okay. Now you look, and the names for governor are Zell Miller and Andy Young. You start to push the lever down by Andy Young's name, and you pause. Okay? Okay, hold that moment. You got it? What's holding you back from voting for Andy Young right now? The one thing, real short. What's the one thing holding you back?
Cause you're a preacher, one thing.
Okay.
One reason, 'cause
All
you're a
right,
preacher.
great. He's a preacher. Norris?
One thing, I can't see him saying that when this Julia Bond incident that he had never seen cocaine and stuff on TV.
Thanks.
You know, I just can't believe that.
I think he was a preacher. I think he was a preacher.
You know, that sticks in the back of my mind.
Uh-huh.
I tell you,
Well, I think-
Okay, what's holding you back? Now we have to keep the bottom line now. 'cause
Okay,
we
I
gotta
think
move.
one thing is when the incident, the police shot the guy out in Wacolla home and went handcuffed, and he's did not really say anything. He did not come out, for the police or for the people who he shot. The police had shot the little boy. I just remember what it was. It was
Callahan.
Callahan. That's what it was.
Callahan, brother.
And that's
Okay. All right, so what's keeping you from pulling the lever now, David?
Well, he's a preacher also, and he's he's for abortion. So that makes him he's not one with the Bible,
Uh-huh. Okay.
because he's for abortion.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And that's okay.
I would say crime.
Charles? Crime.
Crime, period.
Okay. You still taxes. But that's stopping you from pulling the lever now.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. What's making you want to vote for Andy?
Because he's black man got a chance to go.
Black man got a chance to become governor. Okay, right. I've heard that before. That's a good point.
Job
All
opportunity.
Charles, job opportunities. What's happening?
I say the civil rights bill.
Civil rights bill.
Passed, doing all the marching during the '60s and everything.
Okay.
That would be the main reason.
That holds through for you on that. Okay, thanks. Ted, how come you'd vote for it?
Well, I vote for Andrew Young.
Yeah.
I wouldn't vote for him.
You wouldn't vote for him.
No.
Okay.
No
All right.
good reason.
All right. What would make you want to vote for Andy Young?
I think I'm more qualified.
More qualified? Okay. Okay. Now let me ask you this. Listen to this question very carefully. Do you find yourself wanting to vote for Zell Miller or against Andy Young?
Oh, that's a hot one. Don't do it like that.